Hello everyone, this is Diane. I'm here to show you the 2 journals that I completed, and when you see this video they will be in my shop unless someone has purchased them before you get to see the video, because I'm not going to wait and schedule them. I'm just going to list them before I put the video up. Now, my video production may be limited for the next 2 or 3 weeks because the contractors are finally here giving me a new roof, and it's pretty noisy out there. They're still out there, a couple of them, but most of them have gone to lunch, so we don't have the compressor and the banging right now. You might hear some voices, and you might hear a little bit, but I figured while it's relatively quiet, I'll go ahead and do this. And you see these things back here, those are my flea market haul from this morning, and Layla went with me, and she is here to help me show the flea market haul, but she's eating her ice cream right now. So while I'm waiting for her, I'm going to show you these journals. This one I'm going to call Youth's Companion, because this is a copy of 1883 magazine cover called the Youth's Companion. These are design team projects for the old design shop, and I showed videos. I made videos that showed how I made the ephemera pieces, so I'm not going to go into great detail. You can check out those videos. On the cover of this book, which is it was a handyman book, and it's got a wood grain pattern. I'm sorry, you can hear the voices out there probably. But I just Mod Podged a piece of vintage sheet music and this map, which was from the old design shop, and just Mod Podged those pieces down, and then I built this embellishment onto corrugated cardboard. And it's collaged with vintage wallpaper, fabric, another old design shop image, and some vintage pieces of lace. There's a little bulb pin here. It did have a little key charm dangling on it, but it's not there, so I'm going to have to put another one on it. It came off. I don't know how it came off. It's still clipped. And then I glued this piece of braid trim on the spine, and this seam binding is glued underneath it, so it will stay attached when you untie it. Both of the journals are very similar. I did go ahead and leave the images on the inside on the end papers because I just thought they were cute and vintage from the 50s. I put some gimp trim on the inside. I left the spine, it was 2 1/4 inches, and I just put some Tyvek and fabric on it. So it's flexible, it doesn't have cardboard in there. Oh dear, that was a ladder. I think they're taking down a ladder. You should see the army that when I got back from the flea market, there were trucks everywhere and men everywhere and stuff everywhere. It was like an army had invaded my house. So, all right, we'll go quickly through this because Layla's about done with her ice cream. I want you to throw that away and wash your face and hands.
Okay.
It's made with copy dyed paper, and there's no digital paper in here, no digital pages. All the digitals are the ephemera. So there's copy dyed paper, vintage sheet music again, and this is old design team, old design shop. And I just stitched a piece of copy dyed paper to the edge to reinforce it, and it's got a leaf and vine pattern to the stitch. And there's another piece of ephemera. And there's some stamping, a little bit of stamping. Here's a piece of ephemera. I showed this in a previous video. It's got a piece of old quilt on it, a rusty safety pin, and a little metal charm, some pieces of lace, vintage lace. And everything that's paper clipped in has a bead dangle on the paper clip. There was a hole here, a little tear, so I did a little collage there, and this is a little piece from the old design shop. And I did say in the video where I showed how I made the ephemera, I talked about downsizing some of the sheets. So this is a downsized piece. So is this map. I did some stamping there. And then I got out my stash of journaling cards and just adhered quite a few journaling cards into each journal on the pages where you can't write, so that you would have a place to write. There's a fabric flip. This is a piece of like a handmade paper that I did some stenciling. Sorry, that was Layla kicking the tripod.
An accident.
And there's stenciling and inking on it, and you can write on that. A little flip there, some tissue paper. This is from a book about some sort of pottery or china or something. A little pocket there, and this is a downsized piece of Old Design Shop ephemera. It's on a little coin envelope, and inside is another downsized piece of ephemera. It's just glued to coffee dyed paper. There's the center of the signature, a journaling card. It's a little stamp of a little chair. This I just put on, oh, got glue in the middle of it. I put it on as a pocket, but I didn't put anything in it yet. I just did that last night. Oh, you know what I did? I put tape in the middle, like I normally do when I'm taping down the whole thing. That's why it was stuck. This is from an old vintage book that I copy dyed, years ago. I've had these copy dyed papers, book pages, in my stash and just haven't used them, so I use them in these books. It's a stamp. Here's the regular size of the map that's right there. So this is the size. I crumpled it up and inked it, just folded it. And then I made this little paper clip with the downsized piece. Put that in later. The stamp. Library pocket. It's a vintage library pocket, and I covered it up with 2 pieces of her ephemera and added a collage of lace and fabric, a little bit of lace and ribbon there, and tucked in this piece of ephemera. And that goes in the pocket, and then this goes behind. So all of the ephemera you see is from the Old Design Shop. A glassine bag someone had given to me in a Happy Mail, and they embossed it. And then I inked over it and put some cheesecloth and this image on it and another rusty safety pin. And I did a video showing the making of these tags. I tied this eyelash trim on it real quick on video, so I'm going to have to do that again because it's coming off. So I'm going to fix that, but it's got some ribbons and laces in there. A stamped background with script, sewing pattern, one of her images, and this beautiful vintage lace, 2 different pieces, and then this gorgeous charm. Someone had sent me some charms in a Happy Mail, so I used a lot of them in this book. I made a few, but most of them in these 2 books were ones that were sent to me, which I really appreciate. I off-stamped my Tiffany & Co. stamp, so it's not the full stamp. I just stamped it off so you could just see part of it. And in this envelope, this is from Denise's shop, and so are the rusty safety pins, by the way. I just inked it and then put this little map in there so it can show through, because I love the colors of that map. Some eyelash trim and a ticket. It's another paper clip with a bead on it. I moved the paper clips up and down the pages so they're not all in the same place. This is a gorgeous fabric flip. These are both vintage fabrics. This was like I don't know if it was from a tablecloth or something. I think somebody sent that to me, a piece of it. And this is a bark cloth, and then this is vintage lace also. This is scrapbook paper, but it's printed like ledger paper, and it opens out here. There's another book page. Another piece of ephemera. This is a really pretty piece. That's part of the ephemera kit. By the way, this is her ephemera kit number 4. She has several ephemera kits, so you can get, and she doesn't have bad prices on them. They're very nicely priced. and she has sales often. So you could get several kits and just go to town making ephemera. There's some coffee dyed lace, or else it's vintage lace. I don't usually coffee dye lace, so that might just be the color it was. And a piece of selvage from a fabric. This is a fabric pocket. I stamped on it and added a collage of lace and one of the images. Here's one of her images with a little piece of lace. And then this is a vintage bus ticket. I stamped vintage style on it. This is a piece of her ephemera and some scraps of paper. I just made them into a booklet. There's lots of journaling space in here because of all the inserts and the pages. There's lots of journaling on the pages. Here's one of her ephemera pieces. I put some coffee dyed tracing paper on it. This piece of twill tape, and this is 3 hearts punched, and there's tissue paper in between. The tissue paper one is the middle one. I did glue down this so that it wouldn't get caught on things. I was thinking of that sliding into a pocket and this getting caught, but I ended up just clipping it on, so that wasn't necessary. There's another old book page that was coffee dyed years ago. It's a paper doll book, like how to make paper dolls. Very vintage book. Vintage fabrics and vintage lace, and then another piece of handmade paper. I didn't make it. I bought it at a yard sale or a flea market. I heard their compressor start up again, or whatever that is. Here's another piece of ephemera. I sewed it to cardstock and added this little fabric ruffle and then just tucked this in. So there's that one. We'll go through this one more quickly because it has the same elements. I did not decorate the cover because I love this vintage 50s cover. Masonry Simplified. It's got this beautiful upholstery fabric, gimp trim, and this vintage trim here, and again the seam binding. The same coin envelope. There's a pocket here again. I will include some of the offcuts of the papers that I cut off, and I will include these in the packet so that you can make embellishments and decorate with them. I love this old fabric that someone sent me. It just looks so good with this yellow, which is off that piece of fabric that was in the other book, and this pink ribbon. And I think just everything works together on that to make a really lovely collage. Well, it's getting noisier here again. There's another pocket right there. There's no hammers pounding yet though, so maybe we'll be okay to do our video, Layla. I think there's a window I can close that might make that compressor quieter. A vintage ticket. Thank you, Layla. That helped. She closed the window for me. What are you doing? Layla, did you knock on the window?
No.
Oh. Oh, yeah. I'm defrosting the freezer, so she was just informing me that the ice has melted. I have to fill the freezer back up as soon as we're done with these videos. No, I have to clean it out. But thank you. This is a larger piece of ephemera that I sewed to coffee dyed paper and folded it over the edge. She's trying so hard to be very quiet. She's whispering to me because I told her she had to be quiet until it's her turn. A glassine bag with a tag in it. And that's the end of that one. So as I said, these are in my shop. As soon as this video goes up, they're there. Thank you very much for watching, and stay tuned for a flea market haul that Layla and I are going to show you if it doesn't get too noisy. Bye-bye.